Some Acorn newspapers, publishers of the Greenwich Post, New Canaan Advertiser, the Darien Times, the Ridgefield Press, the Weston Forum, the Wilton Bulletin, the Reading Pilot, the Lewisboro Ledger, the Monroe Courier, the Eastern Courier, the Trumbull Times, Fairfield Sun, Shelton Herald, the Stratford Star, the Milford Mirror, and the Valley Gazette.
Hersam, Acorn, and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.
This is your coffee break on HANradio.com.
It's Wednesday, June 3rd, and this is your coffee break on HANradio.com, streaming live at HANradio.com/livestream, although we are told that is not running directly this morning. You have to find us on YouTube if you want to watch John and my smiling faces today. Along with John Kovach and Rob Adams and our director, Sharon Glad, I'm Josh Fisher. Kate Czaplinski is off today, investigating something up on Choctaw Ridge. Among our top stories today, the General Assembly appears to have reached a state budget that will raise our taxes. The death of 2 young children in our area is being called suspicious. And Sikorsky plans to lay off hundreds of employees. We'll also be hearing from Jim Cameron about some ways to avoid the traffic up to Cape Cod and the islands this summer. And Rob Adams will be updating us on sports. And Don Eng will be by with his history. Let's look back at this day in history. But first, let's take a look at the roads on our first day with sunshine this week, John.
Yeah, not accustomed to this light emanating from high above. It's kind of a new new sensation here. Earlier accident in Stratford was quickly cleared. That on Route 15 North near Exit 53, which is Route 110, River Road. Earlier delays in Westport also cleared. Road work in Westport, that is on the Merritt North at Exit 42. Road work also on the Merritt South in Fairfield by Exit 44, Black Rock Turnpike. And on the Merritt near 46 North, that's Jefferson Street. A lot of work going on the Merritt, so be prepared wherever you're going on the Merritt to catch delays. Taking a look at the weather, as Josh said, sun back out. They're calling it partly cloudy. The sun is getting through. At least it's not raining as we've had all week. 61 now outside our Shelton studio, getting up to a high of 70. No chance of rain today. Tonight, partly cloudy. 10% chance of precipitation, low in the high 40s. Tomorrow, high in the upper 60s, 20% chance of some precipitation. Partly cloudy again. And taking a look at the state's beaches, because of the amount of rain that we've had, there are some beach closures. And they include along the shore, Shorewood Island State Park in Westport. That is closed for sampling today. They expect results tomorrow. Same is true with Silver Sands State Park in Milford. Everything else is open in this area and along the shoreline. Coffee break times, 11:11.
Thanks, John. And it should be noted, too, that our stream is back up at HANradio.com/livestream.
Hi there.
So you can see John's bright green shirt today. That looks great. Really fits in well with the backdrop.
He said he needed to wear a shirt. I'm just saying.
It's not warm enough. It's not warm enough for John to show up.
I'm here
without a
for you,
shirt
my
yet.
friend.
Online polls equal mega hits. We could take it. We could take it to the audience. Whatever you guys want to do.
Taking it to the people. All right, go ahead.
East Haven police are investigating the deaths of 2 children as suspicious after their bodies were found yesterday when police responded to a medical emergency at 541 Strong Street. Police said a boy 5 and a girl 7 were found dead when East Haven Police and the East Haven Police and the East Haven Fire Department. Police and firefighters found a despondent 36-year-old mother of the 2 deceased children with injuries on her arms. Police Chief Brent Larrabee said. Officers also found an active gas leak after entering the residence at about 2:41 p.m., finding the bodies of the children while searching the residence for other occupants. The mother was being treated at Yale New Haven Hospital Tuesday night for injuries that include gas inhalation, with a police officer present at the hospital, police said. 3 police officers who responded were treated at the scene for gas exposure and later taken to Yale New Haven Hospital in an ambulance. At least 2 of the officers had been released, police said during a press conference. John?
And they just had some more information come out on that, and apparently the mother sent a letter to someone indicating intent to harm herself.
Terrible story.
So
Terrible
that just
story.
gets worse. Up in Hartford, the state's budget drama is nearly done early this morning, and they were in session, I believe, all night long, Josh. The State House of Representatives was poised to adopt a $40.3 billion 2-year package. It largely restores deep cuts to social services and expands municipal aid while raising tax revenue by almost $2 billion, according to the Connecticut Mirror. Around 20 after 7 this morning, the State House approved an amendment that effectively becomes the budget bill after 2 hours of debate. Again, they were in session all night. If approved by the House, the plan, negotiated by Democratic majorities in both chambers and Daniel P. Malloy's office, moves on to the Senate, which would have until the legislative session adjourns at midnight to act. The new budget would order one of the largest increases in municipal aid in state history, dedicating almost $436 million in sales tax receipts to cities and towns over the next 2 years. While a portion would be dedicated exclusively to cap municipal taxes on vehicles, advocates predicted most of the new money would help communities control property taxes across the board. We'll have more on the budget tomorrow as this continues to take shape. A lot of debate, a lot of accusations, and the vitriol is not done up in Hartford, Josh.
No, not at all. And John, the House did pass it. One of the most narrow votes I've seen. The State House passed it in some time. 73-70 was the vote. That came about 45 minutes ago. So it moves on to the Senate.
On to the Senate. But to have the majority that the Democrats have in Hartford and to have a budget passed by 3 votes, very telling about that deal.
Yes, it is. Well, some more bad news here in our neighboring Stratford, just down the road from us. Sikorsky Aircraft, Stratford's largest employer, announced Tuesday that it will lay off some 1,400 employees and contractors around the world this year as a result of lowered demand for helicopters and smaller military budgets. About 180 employees in Connecticut will be affected, according to the company. Sikorsky now has about 8,000 workers in the state. Of those, 6,200 of Sikorsky's Connecticut employees work in Stratford, though it also operates smaller facilities in Shelton, where we are right now. Spokesman Paul Jackson said Sikorsky will leave smaller satellite facilities and consolidate remaining production volume into its larger campuses. All 450 employees of Sikorsky's Bridgeport facility in that city's south end will be moved to the main location in Stratford late next year, Jackson said. Officials at United Technologies Corp., the parent company of Sikorsky, have been looking at the possibility of a spin-off or even a sale of Sikorsky. Coffee break time, 11:16.
Josh, firefighters from around the area responded to a blaze that consumed the former Fairfield Lumber Company shortly after 7 Tuesday night. Fairfield Emergency Services received a call reporting smoke rising from the southernmost warehouse. The first fire unit to arrive confirmed there was a fire. An assistant chief arrived and summoned Fairfield's remaining apparatus, as well as additional fire units from Bridgeport, units from Southport, Stratfield, the Red Cross, United Illuminating, Aquarian Water Company, Westport, Norwalk, Easton, and Stratford all responded to the town as Fairfield firefighters battled this blaze. The fire was ruled under control around 11:15 last night, but firefighters were continuing to battle hotspots. The smoke was visible from exit 22 off I-95. There was a lot on social media asking what's happening in Fairfield as that scene unfolded. You can see the column of smoke in the image we just showed there. Those photos courtesy of the Fairfield Fire Department.
Well, John, a state superior court judge Tuesday put a stop to the sale of Stratford's Water Pollution Control Authority and ordered the town of Stratford to accept signatures on petitions calling for a referendum on the transaction. Judge Barbara Bellis granted an injunction that stops Mayor John Harkins from signing any contract selling the WPCA and prohibits the Greater New Haven Water Pollution Control Authority from accepting any paperwork. The judge also ruled that the plaintiffs seeking to stop the sale do not need to post with the town a $2.4 million bond. Some 6,000 petition signatures, about double the 3,000 required to take the issue to the polls, were taken to the town clerk's office on May 5th, but were rejected that day by town officials citing state statute. The judge Tuesday ruled that the town must accept the signatures. The town of Stratford can now amend the decision to sell the water pollution plant, rescind the vote to authorize the sale, or take the transaction to a referendum. Mayor John Harkins said Tuesday that his administration disagrees with the court's decision. You can follow Melvin Mason's reporting on this at StratfordStar.com. It's good to see that Melvin did find a parking spot in Bridgeport yesterday. I know he's worried about that.
I'm certain it was costly, knowing the parking spots in Bridgeport. But that an interesting decision to see where Stratford's going to go with that. Vastly unpopular among residents. They needed 3,000 signatures to force a referendum. They got 6,000.
Yes, it was quite a scene. We had Melvin on Behind the News back in the beginning of May to talk about this right after it happened. We'll probably have to bring him back at some point as this continues.
I would think so. Taking a quick look at the roads, Josh, another road work area has popped up. That on the Merritt Parkway North in Greenwich, just beyond exit 28 for Round Hill Road. So you have work there, you have work in Fairfield in both directions, you have work in Westport, this all along the Merritt Parkway. So if you're traveling on the Merritt, be prepared to sit.
Enjoy the scenery.
Exactly.
It's a good time of year. Other than maybe October, this is a good time of year to be stuck on the
That
Merritt.
is true, and it is a parkway.
It is a parkway, so...
They envisioned us picnicking along it.
Right?
And
wouldn't that be great?
by George, they've given us that opportunity.
You get stuck in traffic, you just pull over, right, Rob? And
That's why the road was built, and people used to do it. 1940 when they built it.
They had a
Start doing
choice
that more.
then.
Yeah, they did have a choice. That's a good point.
And it's a good day to picnic. It's partly cloudy. 61 right now outside our Shelton studio, getting up to just below 70, 68, partly cloudy. No chance of rain today, which in and of itself is news after the last 3 or 4 days. Tonight, partly cloudy, low in the upper 40s, 10% chance of precipitation. Tomorrow, again, partly cloudy, just like today, almost identical, just a little chance of precipitation. Currently 61 in Shelton, 58 in Norwalk, and 60 in Ridgefield.
When we come back, we're going to take a look at sports. Don Eng will be here with history, and then we'll a little bit later we'll have some tips, John, on how you can get up to Cape Cod without getting stuck in traffic on 95.
Which is also virtually impossible.
Well, Jim Cameron has some ways. You're watching Coffee Break on HANradio.com, streaming live on the Hersam Acorn Network. We'll be back after this.
Your child has fallen and broken his arm. You need to see an orthopedist fast. Think Coastal Ortho Express in Norwalk. Don't wait hours in the ER. Save a trip and money by going straight to an orthopedic specialist at Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care in Norwalk. No appointment necessary. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, 203-845-2070. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or call 203-845-2070. Fast.
The long winter is finally astern. Bait is invading the harbors, coves, and inlets. Stripers, fluke, and porgies are on the move. In the streams and lakes, trout, smallmouth, largemouth, and walleye have moved out of hibernation. At the dock shop, it's all systems go. And now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and their newest location at 609 Riverside Avenue in Westport. Bait, tackle, apparel, and of course, all the marine and nautical accessories that they're known for are ready for you at the dock shop. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Visit us at dockshop.com.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford, 203-375-8332, and online at stratfordsmile.com.
Alliance. We are an industry leader in coordinating transportation for large events such as corporate road shows, conferences, and special events. Our team of experts understands the dynamics and logistics of high-pressure situations and complex arrangements, all within a rapidly changing environment. Since 1999, we have added charter jets, event management, and personal protection to our range of services. Mention this ad for $25 off your next round-trip reservation. Alliance and you. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. 855-546-6996 or alliancelimo.com.
Now you can keep up with what's happening in Darien with the convenience of the Darien Times Online. Your choice. Print or digital subscription for just $45 a year. Or get the print and digital bundle for just $10 more, $55 a year. To subscribe to the Darien Times, go to hersamsecure.com/CIRC or call the circulation department at 203-894-3388. The Darien Times, now in print and online. Don't miss a single issue. Subscribe today.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.
Coming up on 11:25, welcome back to your coffee break, presented by Stratford Orthodontic on HANradio.com. John Kovach, I've got Josh Fisher with me. Donald Eng joining us now for sports.
Excellent.
Really?
Yeah. Take two. Donald Eng joining us for history. Then we'll throw it to Rob Adams for sports.
Well, it's actually a pretty sports-heavy history.
I think that's what threw me is I read your script,
yeah.
and you got quite a bit of sports in here. Let's have it.
Play the record again, please.
Well, we start in 1098, non-sports related, actually slightly sports related. Crusaders of the First Crusade seize Antioch in modern-day Turkey after a 5-month siege. Although the Crusades would go on for another 200 years, the First Crusade was the only one that had any real military success. You guys know there's a famous coach whose name derives from the First Crusade. Any guesses? It's Urban Meyer, after Pope Urban II, who ordered the First Crusade. World War II, Japan invades Alaska, the bombing Unalaska Island in the Aleutians. We go to 1946. French designer Louis Réard unveils a daring two-piece swimsuit at the Piscine Molitor, a popular swimming pool in Paris. Parisian exotic dancer Michel Bernardini models the new fashion, which Réard dubbed the bikini, inspired by the U.S. atomic bomb tests that had taken place off Bikini Atoll earlier that week. Other significantly more modest two-piece bathing suits had been introduced in the U.S. during the war due to fabric rationing, this one adorning famous prison break accomplice Rita Hayworth. Réard famously said, "A bikini wasn't a bikini unless it could be pulled through a wedding ring." 2003, Sammy Sosa of the Cubs breaks a bat grounding out against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. The bat he was using turned out to have been corked. Sosa admits his guilt but says it was an honest mistake that he grabbed the wrong bat. The bat was his, but he used it for batting practice occasionally to excite fans with 500-foot home runs. His other 5 bats are checked by X-ray and found to be untampered with. Interestingly, Sosa was accused of cheating again 2 years later, by which time he had completely forgotten every single word of the English language. Can't explain it. It's a fact. And finally, 1888, the San Francisco Examiner publishes a relatively lengthy poem under a pseudonym. It has gone on to become as much a part of America as the sport that it's about.
And now the pitcher holds the ball. And now he lets it go. And now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere. And somewhere, hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing. Somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in luck. Mighty Casey has struck out. And now the pitcher holds
the ball. Casey at the Bat by Ernest Lawrence Thayer, read by Lionel Barrymore there, becomes such a part of Americana from the 1946 Disney version to John Fogerty's reference in the song Center Field. Interesting strategy, though. No wonder why there's not a lot of joy in Mudville. If the power-hitting, overconfident Casey is your cleanup hitter, that means the worst two hitters on your team are batting second and third. That's, I don't know. I question that. Clearly, the Mudville manager, as we were saying earlier, not a sabermetrician.
Well, no, I would agree. He's probably not, because you had Flynn preceding Casey.
Right.
And also Jimmy Blake.
And Rob will have their career stats because he does have them committed to memory.
They make Joe Schlabotnik look like Miguel Cabrera.
And the former was a Lulu, and the latter was a fake.
Why do you have him 2-3 in the lineup? That just makes no sense at all.
I don't know. I mean, you're already in trouble because Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, and a sickly silence fell upon the patrons of the game.
Casey's RBI production was really down that year.
Well, did you know also Casey Stengel actually got his name from Mighty Casey. His name is not Casey. It's his initial. He was nicknamed KC after the city he's from, Kansas City.
Charles Dillon Stengel.
Correct. And he then said he was. They changed it to Casey because of his tendency to strike out when he was in the minors.
The greatest manager in the history of the New York Mets.
Well, I might give it to Hodges.
I don't know.
I just want
to see a reaction.
Davey.
I just want a reaction. That's all I was looking for there, and I got it.
Well, that's your look back in history. And I'm Donald Eng, and we sort of merged sports and history, but now we go to sports.
I like that. And the outlook wasn't brilliant for any of the 9 yesterday because none of them played. Anyway, we jump into the schedule today. Thank you, Don, John, and Josh, and it's a very busy day today. Now, there were a few things yesterday that did take place, but not much. They did play... They did go on and hold some of the FCAC Outdoor Track and Field Championships at Danbury High School. So all that went on. So, there's stuff that, or I shouldn't say not the FCAC, but some of the state stuff got underway up the line. My mistake on the Danbury part. I'm reading off a different script. But there are some things that got underway yesterday, so that's going on. But we've got everything today, including what we're covering, which will be New Canaan hosting Stratford in baseball. That is coming up later on today at 3:30. I will be up there for not only that, but for Nutmeg Sports. So I'll be down in New Canaan a little bit later on with Nutmeg Sports later today. Now, like I said, there were some scores from yesterday. Let me read them off to you from Class L. It was Middletown over Cheney Tech. It took 10. Yes, 10. 2-0 final score. East Catholic over Abbott Tech in Class M, 5-1. Ellington knocked off Prince Tech, 6-1. Coventry, a 3-2 win over Derby in Class S. Couple of other scores for you in boys volleyball. It was Fairfield Ward Ludlow knocking off Conard, 3-0. Fermi took care of Rockville in Class M, 3-0. From girls lacrosse, Darien over South Windsor, 19-2. Cheshire, 15. Shelton, 6. New Fairfield, 16. And Brantford, 6. Class S, it was Canton knocked off Lewis Mills, 9-7. Daniel Hand over Hall, 7-0. Glastonbury gets by Wilton, 4-3. This is girls tennis. Staples, a 4-1 win over Daniel Hand. Staying in girls tennis to Class M. Laurelton, 7-0 over New Fairfield. Laurelton Hall, to be exact. Stonington, a 4-3 win over Avon in girls tennis in Class M. Northwest Catholic over Litchfield, 5-2. Old Saybrook shuts down Norwich Tech, 7-0 in Class S. And Westbrook, a 6-1 win over Windsor Locks. So all of that has gone on, and that brings you now to today's schedule. As I said, it's very heavy because of all the games that have been postponed and canceled. You've got the FCAC Championship in girls golf at Fairchild Wheeler underway. The FCAC Championship on the boys' side gets underway at noon, again at Fairchild Wheeler. From baseball, it's Newington at Darien, Greenwich is at Ward, Danbury and Glastonbury, not Sambury, playing at Riverfront Park at 3:30. Norwalk hosting Bristol Central, Naugatuck at Stanford, Hamden at Staples, Wilton home for Xavier, Ridgefield at Amity, Trumbull is at Simsbury. Class L, Stratford and New Canaan, 3:30. Again, I'll be down there for that one. St. Joe's and Woodland in Class M at 4 o'clock. Trinity Catholic hosting St. Bernard at 4 o'clock in Class S. To softball, Bristol Central and Danbury at 4 in Class LL, with Newington hosting Ludlow, New Britain at Norwalk, Greenwich at Norwich Free Academy at 4. It's Ward and Ridgefield at 4:30. These are softball games. Hamden at Stanford, Staples at Trumbull, and West Hill home for Conard. Locally, Darien with a bye. From the Class M tournament, St. Joe's has a bye as well. On to lacrosse we go. Class L, Amity at Darien. It's Brian McMahon at Xavier. Farmington home for Ridgefield. Greenwich is home for Fairfield Prep at 5. Trumbull at Simsbury. And Staples at Ludlow. From Class M, Wilton at Berlin. And New Canaan home for Foreign. From Class S, St. Joe's is at Bacon Academy at 4:30. To boys tennis, you've got the Class AA tournament at Yale, the Class L tournament at Yale, both of those at 12:30. And then in girls tennis, you've got the Class L first round with New Canaan at Southington, Greenwich taking on Bristol Central at Ludlow, and Newtown at Ludlow as well. Finally, Class L tournament, New Canaan and Southington. The winner there plays Darien at 3 at Southington, and the Ludlow Newtown winner takes on Greenwich Bristol Central at Ludlow at 3. And one last little note I thought I'd pass along. I mentioned this off the air to the guys before we came on, that the Danbury Whalers, they have been evicted from the Danbury Ice Arena. As a result, the Federal Hockey League is going to announce a new team that will play in Brewster, New York. So the Danbury Whalers, at least after 5 years, are no more. They will be listed as inactive, according to the now former Whalers CEO and managing partner, Herm Sorcher. So that's all of that with sports. I'm Rob Adams. Coffee break time, 11:34.
So are they going to replace them, or are they going to move to Brewster, or we don't know yet?
In a quote from lowhud.com, written by Nancy Haggerty, the Whalers reached an impasse in contract talks with their home rink, which was the Danbury former Patriot Ice Arena, earlier this spring. And what Herm Sorcher was saying is that he's going to be the GM of the new Brewster team. Some Danbury players will be on the as-yet unnamed Brewster team's roster, but there will be some management changes. As he said in a quote, there will be a new team in the Brewster Ice Arena. Then he went on and said, this is going to be awesome. The community response has been very positive. Yada, yada. Now, one difference, they only draw... they can draw 16 to 1,800 at Danbury. Brewster can't handle that size of a crowd right now at the Brewster Ice Arena.
Do they approach that?
I think it's going to take a little work on the part of the rink. Now, they have a little bit of a relationship with the Rangers. That can't hurt them to have that kind of connection, kind of like the connection that the Darien Ice Rink has as well.
Okay.
That same kind of relationship. So that might be able to help them at least expand a little bit, get a little more name and notoriety, if you will. So, and it sits right next to 684. It's right in the woods off 684. Yeah. So there are things to like about this deal for Brewster, but we'll see if it happens.
Okay. Thanks,
Guys.
Rob. We'll
All right.
catch up with you in a little bit. Josh, quick transit update.
Do it.
On the Waterbury branch, Metro North is advising riders to anticipate 20 minutes delays due to a disabled train. They are advising you to listen for announcements on the platform.
So the Waterbury branch is on schedule.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else going on the roads while we're there?
Just what we had, the work in Greenwich on the Merritt North by 28, work in both directions in Fairfield, southbound at 44, northbound at 46, road work in Weston on the Merritt North at 42. So anywhere you go on the Merritt, you're going to catch work.
Cool. Well, Jim Cameron will be coming up shortly to tell us some tips on how to avoid traffic when you're on your vacation up to the Cape or the islands this summer. But first, a little bit more news. A Milford man was arrested Tuesday and charged with possession of narcotics near a school. 26-year-old Jonathan Bodna of Nels Road was arrested at 14 Dewey Avenue at 10 yesterday morning. He was charged with possession of narcotics within 1,500 feet of a school with the intent to sell. Dewey Avenue is off of Naugatuck Avenue in the area of West Shore Middle School and Jonathan Law High School. Bodner was released from police custody on his promise to appear in court June 30th. Police did not release any further details.
Thanks, Josh. A 33-year-old New Canaan woman ended up in jail Friday after a series of incidents that included her lifting her floral dress in front of youths, biting a young girl, running from police who later caught her, then kicking a hole in the wall at the police station while she was being processed. It all started around 8:30 Friday when an officer working at the Outback Teen Center was alerted to the woman, later identified as Sarah Presson of Forest Street in New Canaan, lifted her dress and showed her underwear to youths in the parking lot there. Before she could be found, that officer was alerted that the woman had just bitten a 15-year-old girl on the hand on Elm Street, which is just nearby, adjacent to the teen center. Preston was located, and police said they smelled the odor of alcoholic beverages on her breath. She was not cooperative and, in fact, tried to flee, according to the New Canaan Advertiser. She was caught and taken to police headquarters where, while handcuffed to a bench, she allegedly swung her legs around and kicked a hole in the wall. Preston's been charged with third-degree assault, disorderly conduct, second-degree breach of peace, risk of injury to a minor, interfering with an officer, and third-degree criminal mischief. Bond was set at $5,000. She did not post it and was scheduled to be arraigned on Monday. The girl who was bitten did not have her skin broken.
I guess that's good.
So much I could say, and I just gotta take the high road.
That's good. It's Tell me what it's like up there. Two men who a witness saw looking through residents' mailboxes on Christie Hill Road in Darien may be the two who stole a vehicle nearby. Darien police suspect. Police said they were tipped off by a limo driver on Memorial Day morning that two men were opening and checking through Christie Hill mailboxes.
Good day to look for mail on a Sunday. The Monday that there's no delivery. But
well, maybe they're just making sure that no one forgot.
Who am I to offer advice to criminals?
A limo driver noticed the men and made the call. The driver told police he tried to follow the people, but they ran. Police said they couldn't locate the individuals, but some mailboxes appeared to have been open. It's possible some intended crimes had been averted, however. Checking in driveways, police said they found numerous vehicles left unlocked with keys and valuables in them that were left undisturbed. Even so, police said they're investigating who stole a vehicle nearby on Greenleaf Avenue, which runs between Christie Hill and along Hollow Tree Ridge Road. It may have been the two suspects they tried to find. Sometime during the same night, someone drove off with a 2011 Subaru Outback wagon valued at $18,000. The owner of the vehicle told police it was last seen May 25th when it was parked in the driveway at about 4 in the afternoon. Along with two other vehicles, the Outback had been left unlocked in the driveway with its keys in it, according to police. The next morning at 8, the owner discovered the Outback was gone, but the other two vehicles were untouched. An investigation into the incidents and whether they are connected continues. Police said coffee break time, 11:39.
A 49-year-old Ridgefield man entered the New Canaan Food Emporium on Elm Street Sunday, and there told a 20-year-old female employee that he was quite taken with her, according to New Canaan police. Asking for her phone number and professing his undying love, the man added that if rebuffed, he would drive his pickup truck into the store and might cut his own leg off using a chainsaw. Though flattered, the woman kind of said no, and the man, identified as Randolph Wood of Danbury Road, left, but returned later and tried anew to win her affection, first by offering a ride, then by blocking her car's exit in the parking lot and staring at her for a few minutes. He then left. Another customer recognized the man. New Canaan police went to his house on Monday. Wood told him he had an idea why they might be there. He was issued a summons for second-degree breach of peace. He's due in court June 9th.
Well, it's 20 minutes till the hour right now, and we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and Jim Cameron will have some tips for us on how you can avoid traffic this summer on your way up to the Cape or the islands. You're listening and watching Coffee Break on HANradio.com, streaming live on the Hersam Acorn Network.
It's Lots of Characters, specializing in children's birthday parties with your child's favorite characters. When you want to party hardy, when you need to celebrate, call us, we won't be late. We help create lasting memories for you and your child on their special day. Call us at 203-590-1791 or visit our website at lotsofcharacters.org for more information and to see our party packages. Lots of Characters, 203-590-1791 or online at lotsofcharacters.org.
Located in the heart of picturesque downtown Ridgefield at 13 Governor Street, Colby's is the area's premier retailer for blinds, shades, shutters, and draperies, and is one of the select few Hunter Douglas Gallery dealers. A family-owned and operated company, Colby's experienced staff will work with you in choosing the best treatments for your home or office and offer free measuring and expert installation. Colby's also carries an extensive line of decorative fabrics including Schumacher, Durley, Tebow, and more. Or browse over 400 books in our wallpaper library from famous designers such as Stroheim, Schumacher, Ralph Lauren, Tebow, and York. Take advantage of our Fashion in Motion savings event with savings and rebates on Hunter Douglas shades with Power Rise technology. Colby's of Ridgefield. We are committed to your complete satisfaction. 203-438-8531.
The long winter is finally astern. Bait is invading the harbors, coves, and inlets. Stripers, fluke, and porgies are on the move. In the streams and lakes, trout, smallmouth, largemouth, and walleye have moved out of hibernation. At the dock shop, it's all systems go. And now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and their newest location at 609 Riverside Avenue in Westport. Bait, tackle, apparel, and of course, all the marine and nautical accessories that they're known for are ready for you at the dock shop. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Visit us at dockshop.com.
Now you can keep up with what's happening in Darien with the convenience of the Darien Times Online. Your choice. Print or digital subscription for just $45 a year. Or get the print and digital bundle for just $10 more, $55 a year. To subscribe to the Darien Times, go to hersamsecure.com/CIRC or call the circulation department at 203-894-3388. The Darien Times, now in print and online. Don't miss a single issue. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Hersam Acorn Radio.
Watching the Friday afternoon traffic crawling up I-95, I was struck with a thought. There's got to be a better way to get to the Cayman Islands than playing Mad Max on the bumper-to-bumper interstates for hours on end. I'm Jim Cameron for Talkin' Transportation, commentary and analysis on getting around in New England. 6 million people visit the Cape each year, 4 million of them in the summer and fall. And on most summer weekends, they all seem to be directly in front of you on the interstate, right? There's got to be a better way. Well, there used to be direct Amtrak train service from Washington, D.C. to Hyannis, stopping at major stations in Connecticut. The Cape Codder was the name of the train. It ran from 1985 to 1996, but it only carried 1,200 passengers in its final season due to its 5+ hour running time from Stamford. And once you detrained in downtown Hyannis, you were still several miles from the beach. There's still express bus service running from New Haven to Hyannis, but it's not a lot faster than the cars, though a lot cheaper at $42 one way. All these fares I'm quoting are from a June Friday departure. The newest option is a high-speed ferry. The Sea Streak runs from East 35th Street in Manhattan to Martha's Vineyard for $165 one way. Nantucket's $10 more, and it takes 5 or 6 hours, respectively. Nice boat, though it's still a long ride, even with the flat-screen TVs, the full bar, and the comfy seats. Sea Streak also operates high-speed from New York to Port Jefferson, Long Island, where you can connect with the Hampton Jitney, actually a bus, that'll take you to that Tony Beach community in just 3.5 hours. Or you can chug across to Port Jeff from Bridgeport on the traditional ferry and then hop on the bus. If money is no object, you can always fly. JetBlue flies nonstop in an hour from JFK to Hyannis or the Vineyard for as little as $179 one way. There's also Cape Air, whose Cessnas will whisk you from White Plains to the islands in just over an hour for $565 one way. Faster and more exclusive, charter jets from firms like Tradewinds. Well, listen, really, are we that desperate to decamp to the sun and surf when we have perfectly lovely beaches here in Connecticut? The state-run Sherwood Island Beach is right off I-95 in Westport. It's biking distance from the Greens Farm stop on Metro North. And Bridgeport's city-owned Pleasure Beach has just reopened after a 2-decade absence. There's a free water taxi that runs 7 days a week. Another alternative, looking to the south, is the Jersey Shore. You could catch Amtrak to Newark or take Metro North to Grand Central, then switch to Penn Station. New Jersey Transit's Coast Line will easily get you to all the shore communities from Long Branch down to Bayhead. So wherever you're heading for sun and fun this summer, don't be a slave to bumper traffic. Try transit. I'm Jim Cameron for Talking Transportation.
Thank you, Jim. It was interesting. I'd love to take the ferry all the way up to Cape Cod.
That would be a great trip. I would enjoy that.
$160 too. That's not that bad.
It's not awful. It's
No.
it's not cheap, but I mean, it's not a lot to pay to avoid sitting on the Bourne Bridge.
But it's also about knowing what time to drive, too.
Right.
And that's been the secret for me anyway. The couple of times, and I've only been twice, but the couple of times I've gone, it's been at off hours. I went late on a Sunday night, and I think I went another time later on, I think it was a Wednesday night. Yeah. We'd finished up, we'd finished up deadline here at the Wilton Bolton, and I just shot up straight from Ridgefield, and you make it across either the Bourne or the Sagamore, and I didn't sit in traffic.
Well, so you have to go like I used to go off season, go either May or September.
That is no problem.
Yeah.
And Google Maps has a great way where you can actually tell it what day you plan to leave and what time, and it'll predict what the traffic is typically like on those times.
Yeah.
So that's another tool to use.
And they even talk about building a third bridge, so we'll see. Those bridges are very narrow too, so they are quite old.
They're narrow, and as I recall, they go right from the bridge into a rotary, which is always a great.
One
yes.
of them does.
One of them does.
Yes. Yep.
I can tell you where not to go on vacation, according to Wallet Hub, and that's where we are right now. Wallet Hub this morning announced its 2015 list of the best and worst cities for summer travel. Number 80, drum roll please, Bridgeport. Number 79, New Haven. Number 78, where I was this weekend, Providence. Hartford checks in at 73rd. Top place to go, Las Vegas, followed by Orlando, Atlanta, Phoenix, Salt Lake. None of them really places I want to go in the summer.
No?
I want to go to the shore in the summer.
Yeah.
I want to. Why am I going to go to? I'm going to go to the desert in the summer. I don't know.
I want to go to the woods.
That I would do that too, but
all that shade at the summer is always nice.
Albany, and that you could argue includes woods, was 74th on the list. Allentown, which not that far from the Poconos, is 71st on the list. Salt Lake City, number 5 on the list. I guess we're going to do some summer skiing. I don't know. Interesting, but Bridgeport last in terms of.
Does anyone actually go to Bridgeport like for vacation? I mean, this century. No, John, you don't have to think that hard about that. That was kind of a rhetorical question.
Take a break. How about no?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You could. There's some cool stuff. It just needs a little.
Well, we do have some exciting political news now.
You could come to Bridgeport and follow politics. That's always fun.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of politics, an outspoken town council Democrat is emerging as Trumbull First Selectman Tim Herbst's competition for the town's top office this fall. Vicky Tessero, who represents District 3 and serves as minority leader of the town council, is seeking her party's nomination as its candidate for the First Selectman race in November. Tessero has not made a formal announcement. She plans to do so next week, but a top-ranking member of the Trumbull Democratic Town Committee told the Trumbull Times that Tessero is stepping forward to challenge Herbst. That member said no other Democrats are seeking the nomination. There has been much discussion about potential candidates since Herbst announced his bid for re-election in early April. Tessero later confirmed the news. You can read more on this at TrumbullTimes.com. I like how Trumbull has an actual minority leader on its town council. Do most towns have a minority leader and a majority leader? Tim Herbst is a chief of staff, and he holds cabinet meetings.
That's bigger. Chief of staff up here, like
I'm
you
sure
don't hear that in the other end of the county where you and I work, New Canaan, Darien.
No.
But up here, like in Stratford,
they
Mayor
do
Harkins
that?
has a chief of staff, and they do refer to the majority of minority leaders on the council. Although, like Stratford's council, at the last few terms, they've had one Democrat and 2 Democrats. So.
Do they take turns? Who's the?
Great question. Great question.
I'm picturing Tim Herbst and his team of rivals
in the war room.
Yeah, on his in his cabinet, ballots like, should we move Trumbull Day to this close to the election, or do we keep it here? Is that civil enough for that conversation?
Oh boy,
is this too much behind the news for you? All right, sorry, John.
No, it's okay. I mean, the civility thing, and we. There is going to be a civility series. We'll discuss that when we have Kate back.
Yes, that's going to be exciting. Tim Herbst telling people how to be civil.
So there's another place you can't go this summer.
Bridgeport?
Not a pop-up park in New Canaan.
This is terrible news, I think.
The pop-up park that the New Canaan Chamber of Commerce has set up where South Avenue intersects with Elm Street will not operate this summer, according to Chamber of Commerce Executive Director and New Canaan resident Tucker Murphy. Some business owners in that area complained that the park hurt their livelihoods. It was essentially tables and chairs set up in the street. People could meet, eat, listen to occasional live music, watch big events on TV, play games. It just kind of take a break while you were shopping in the village, which, I mean, it's a beautiful setup with Elm Street and all the parks there. So it would close South Avenue from Morse Court, which is the mobile station there, about a block of it, to Elm Street, and force you to turn a street earlier. And it's a tough turn anyway because you're on the side of Elm Street where the cars park nose in, so you've got to try to creep out. It's kind of like an extension of the sidewalk sales is what it was. That area, during sidewalk sales, they have bands there. They have some attractions there.
A little fountain in there,
little fountain. It was they had approval from the police commission May 20th to have it set up continuously from June 17th through September 7th. Prior years, it was set up on a Friday evening, taken down Sunday evening by volunteers, although last summer it was up for 2 straight weeks in August. Last Saturday, the park was set up Saturday morning, and by Saturday afternoon, it was gone. You can follow that story at ncadvertiser.com.
It's really too bad. I remember last year the entire place was packed during the U.S.-Portugal World Cup game. They had over 200 people there. I always thought it'd be great if it was a permanent thing and would help with some traffic calming in the village of New Canaan.
I think it would. That's a really bad stretch of Elm Street.
Some loud merchants have made themselves known, and we'll see what happens. John?
Okay, you want to take a look at the
Let's do it.
Traffic and
yes,
weather?
I do.
And take a
wait.
break here. Road work in Hamden on the Wilbur-Cross Parkway south at 61 just cleared. But the rest of Route 15, be it the Merritt Parkway or the Wilbur-Cross Parkway, you're going to run into road work. We still have road work in Greenwich on the Merritt North. That's by exit 28 Round Hill Road. You still have road work in Fairfield on the Merritt South at exit 44. That's Route 58. You still have road work in Westport on the Merritt North at Route 42. On the Merritt South at, the Merritt South at 44, we said. There is also work 46 on the Merritt, that all in Fairfield. So whatever direction you're going, you're going to wind up catching traffic. Currently in the low 60s outside our Shelton studio, partly cloudy. Nice day compared to what we've had. It'll approach 70 today, partly cloudy. No chance of rain today, which is definite break from what we've had. Tonight, partly cloudy. Low in the upper 40s, slight chance of some rain. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high in the mid-60s. That is creeping down as this day wears on. And again, a minimal chance of precipitation. Currently 63 in Shelton, 59 in Norwalk, and 61 in Ridgefield.
And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll do another check of sports with Rob, see what other news is going on, and then we'll go off the air for about 55 minutes or an hour 55 before Nutmeg Sports comes up later today. And we got baseball. Stratford against New Canaan. Old school style, audio only tonight, this afternoon.
I
on
like it.
HANradio.com. Yeah, it should be fun. I know Rob's looking forward to going back after we've been following him around with all these cameras all season.
It has been fun to be on video, though. It has been a lot of fun to do it, and we've stuck to the radio call, which I appreciate.
Oh, definitely.
So that's, to me, that's been great. But yeah, there's a simplicity to what I'm going to go do today, which is basically I got to get a table and the equipment down to New Canaan, set up, break down, call it a day.
Not make eye contact with Mitch Hoffman.
try to do that as well. No, I
New
like,
Canaan head
I like
coach.
Mitch.
No, we do. He gives us a hard time. We give him a hard time.
Yeah.
Well, it's 3 minutes till. We're going to go a little bit long today. We'll be back after this on HANradio.com.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Did you know that taking dance lessons is a great date night idea? Arthur Murray Grand Ballroom of Greenwich is a fabulous place to learn to dance and meet new people. Located at 6 Lewis Street, our studio is staffed with professional instructors ready to teach you salsa, waltz, rumba, hustle, tango. There's a dance for every season. And we are rated #1 on the knot.com. We are the wedding dance specialists. Take advantage of our new student offer, only $49. Call 203-769-1800. Visit us online at arthurmurraygreenwich.com.
It's easy to advertise on HANradio.com. Reach 263,000 listeners each month with our sports programming and talk programming. Call Marianne Hersam at 203-417-5199.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.
Welcome back to your coffee break, presented by Stratford Orthodontics on HANradio.com. John Kovach, Josh Fisher working with me today, Rob Adams on sports. Just a quick transit update, if I could, Josh, here.
Of course,
and that
John.
is Metro North involving the Waterbury branch. We had talked about 20-minute delays earlier. They are now saying that service is delayed due to a disabled train near the Devon Transfer. We will keep an eye out for more information on that.
Yes, we will.
Now let's throw it over to Rob Adams, who gets to go outside and see a baseball game, which I'm sure he's itching to after a couple of rainouts.
I'm never disappointed to go out and watch a baseball game, so I am excited to go watch Stratford and New Canaan in just a little while. There are plenty of games, and to try to read them all to you would probably be silly, but let me at least give you a flavor of what's going on around the state. And so many of these are, makeups from not just yesterday, but from Monday as well. You've got Amity and Ridgefield, Darien at Newington. This is all Class LL. Fairfield Prep is at Hall. Greenwich home for Fairfield Ward is at Greenwich, I should say. And it's Ridgefield at Amity, Newington at Darien. Okay, just to correct that, Hall at Fairfield Prep. By the way, I think that Greenwich-Fairfield Ward game has really something to it today. I think that's an interesting game down the line at Fairfield Ward. You also have Danbury going to Glastonbury. You've got Norwalk hosting Bristol Central. Shelton taking on West Haven. So Stamford and Naugatuck, Staples and Hamden, Wilton and Xavier, setting up a potential Norwalk-Wilton game that could be tomorrow. Among other games, Massac and North Haven, New Canaan and Stratford that I told you about. That is a 3:30 start, so we'll have it for you. What we're basically going to have to do is do Nutmeg Sports, and then I'm going to have to shut down for just a few minutes to let me set up the lineups and all that good stuff. Then we'll come back with the pregame. So we'll get you going later on today down at Mead Park in New Canaan, and it should be a good one, interesting one with two towns that we cover. So looking forward to that one. So it's a little bit of a primer for what's coming up today. There's so much going on with all these makeups. You've got Darien and Amity and boys lacrosse, Ludlow and Staples, Ridgefield and Farmington, Greenwich and Fairfield Prep. Again, another good game there involving the Greenwich Cardinals. Xavier and Brian McMahon, Simsbury and Trumbull, Berlin and Wilton, Daniel Hand and Brookfield. So all of this going on, including New Canaan and Foreign, it just says what kind of a day it's going to be. It's going to be a busy one. We'll try to cover it. I'll keep an eye on the scoreboard as best as I can to relay them to you during our broadcast, which is coming up in a little while right here on HANradio.com as we head past noon, coming up on 12:02. I'll send it back over to the guys as we begin to wrap things up. Guys?
Thanks, Rob. Josh, what else is happening?
Well, a farm owner, John, was charged with animal cruelty for allegedly starving the horses in her North Stamford barn. She pleaded not guilty during a brief appearance at State Superior Court on Tuesday. This is according to the Stamford Advocate. 56-year-old Irene Lenahan of Rock Spring Farm was charged with 2 counts of animal cruelty after police documented deplorable conditions they said they found at the end of February after a veterinarian asked them to check the horses in the barn. Arrested at the time was 37-year-old Jose Rodriguez of Erskine Road because he also owned some of the horses and was responsible for feeding and giving water to the emaciated animals, 2 of which had to be euthanized because of their poor health. Rodriguez has pleaded not guilty to identical charges. Police were called to Lenahan's farm on Old Long Ridge Road on January 25th by a veterinarian who had accepted one of her horses for treatment the day before. That horse, a 3-year-old Appaloosa named Muppet, had apparently been starved and neglected, and the veterinarian called 911 asking police to check on the other horses as well. Lenahan told police she had had a death in the family at the beginning of the year and hadn't been down to the barn at the rear of her property very often. She said she allowed Rodriguez to keep 3 horses on her property in exchange for taking care of the others. When Lenahan and police went down to check on the 5 horses, they found the barn in a deplorable state, police said. A second Appaloosa mare named Lacey was found lying on her side in her own feces, kicking her hoofs in distress and gasping for air. Police called another veterinarian to the farm who suggested that Lacey, who was 4 years old, be euthanized. Lenahan gave permission to put the horse down. Police said, terrible story, John, in Stamford.
Really is an awful story. And up in Shelton, the town is remembering former superintendent of schools Anthony P. Pagliaro Sr., who died May 22nd in Florida. He was 81 years old. Pagliaro had served as Shelton's school superintendent in the 1980s and early 1990s, and previously was a teacher and principal in the city. He actually was superintendent when Mayor Mark Loretti first came into office. Pagliaro's daughter told the Shelton Herald that he raised a family of readers based on his own love of literature. You can read a remembrance at sheltonherald.com.
Well, that's going to do it for your Wednesday, June 3rd coffee break here on HANradio.com. Thanks for those who watched us at HANradio.com/live stream. Coming up later today, we'll have sports with Rob on Nutmeg Sports at 2, and then live baseball on the virtual radio at HANradio.com. New Canaan plays Stratford. They're finally going to play ball today after 2 straight rainouts in the state playoffs. Join Rob later. For John Kovach, Rob Adams, and Sharon Glatt, I'm Josh Fisher. Have a good day, everybody.
Hersam, Acorn, and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.